Hello, everybody. It is Emery48 here, and today is Star Wars Maul Lockdown. This is a novel by Joe Schreiber. It takes place in 33 BBY, which is 1 year before Phantom Menace. And we are back on the Legends timeline for this book. I kind of realized that I skipped a couple books because I got really excited to get to the first novel. It's only 1 year behind, so didn't really skip that much. But yeah, it's slightly behind The Phantom Menace. This one is a long book, but there's no parts, so I didn't really see good places to break it up, so it's just gonna be a pretty long video. But I hope you enjoy. Chapter 1, Hive 7. Now, the title for the first chapter. If you watch my previous videos, there was some short stories not too long ago. One of them took place in Hive 7, and this book takes place in that prison. Maul is a prisoner in Hive 7. He killed another prisoner in his cell. The cell then opened up, taking the dead prisoner away. This was one of Hive 7's gambling fights. Maul upset the former champion and was now the champion of the prison. Chapter 2, Siddiqui. Siddiqui Blair, the warden of Hive 7, rewatched the fight the day after. She then fielded a call from Gaming Commissioner Dragomir Chorus, who warned her that the events at Hive 7 had been upsetting many gambling groups. Siddiqui then had a visit from Vesto Slipher of the Intergalactic Banking Clan. Chapter 3, Hot Mess. Sidious had sent Maul into Hive 7 to find and strike a deal with an arms dealer named Aram Radike. Chapter 4, Coil. Maul caused an explosion in the kitchen and watched the reactions of the prisoners in the mess hall. Two gangs obviously grouped together, the Gravity Massive, led by Strabo, and the Bone Kings, led by Vass Nailhead. Another group protected Zero. One prisoner did not budge from his meal, Coil. Coil told Maul all of the information about the groups. Maul is going to meet with Zero. Chapter 5, Knockout Mouse. Artigan Truot and his son Egan are also prisoners at Hive 7. Artigan wants guard Voistock to help him and Egan escape. He offered Voistock 30,000 credits. Chapter 6, The whole thing runs on blood. Siddiqui showed Slifer the inmates. One Gravity Massive was being killed and deboned by the Bone Kings. Slifer wants to know how they predict the winner of the match. He thinks that must be how the prison maintains profit steadily. As always, I have the names up on screen because I in this book particularly, I know I'm going to pronounce things wrong. There's a color code down in the comments below, or in the description, I guess. Chapter 7, Gravity Massive. Maul told both gangs the other wanted to meet, setting them up to fight each other. Chapter 8, Mute Math. Siddiqui introduced Slifer to her brother Dakarai. He designed the algorithm for the matchmaking in the prison's fights. Chapter 9, Strap Hanger. Maul was on the ceiling above where the fight happened. Maul got a guard out of the fight and interrogated him about the location of Zero. Not even the guards know where Zero is at all times. Chapter 10, Skin in the Game. Maul has been chosen to fight again. Hive 7 bets with the algorithm, which has never been wrong. Chapter 11, From the Land of Ice and Snow. Maul was matched up against a Wampa. He killed it by bursting its heart in his hand. After the fight, Maul passed out from fatigue. Chapter 12, FaceTime. The Bone Kings confronted Zero at dinner. Zero talked his way out of it, referencing letters Nailhead receives from his sister. Chapter 13, Cautionary Tale. Zero told Maul that Radike does not exist. Maul then asked for a long-range communication device. Zero wants help dealing with the two gangs, who seem to have united for the time being against Zero. This assistance will be in exchange for the communication device. Chapter 14, Jar of Flies. Maul set a trap for the two gangs, nearly killing them both by taking the oxygen out of the room. He saved the gangs and said the guards were trying to rid Hive 7 of gangs. Maul then demanded control of the two gangs, beating up Strabo and Nailhead. We find out the gangs have been working for Radike and are paid the same way Artigan offered to pay the guard. Chapter 15, L'Emerge. Maul contacted Sidious, updating him on his progress within Hive 7. After their conversation ended, Sidious spoke with Plagueis. Plagueis revealed he was responsible for sending Slifer to Hive 7 to help their mutual goal. Sidious said he had sent Maul to Hive 7 to kill Radike. Chapter 16, Nightside. Voistock is bringing Artigan and Egan to the medbay to get their devices taken out of their hearts. So all the prisoners, when they go into Hive 7, are implanted with a type of bomb in their heart, which can be set off by any of the guards. This is the device that Voistock has said will be taken out. Artigan has not said how he plans to get out from the medbay. Voistock is going to shut the power, which will give them 15 minutes to escape before power is back up. Chapter 17, Ghost Voltage. Maul met with Smash. Maul wants him to hack into the prison database and get him information on all the prisoners. The escape attempt started. Smash said the last escape attempt a year ago was the same as this. Radike had killed those inmates who had attempted to escape, as he doesn't let anyone leave. Chapter 18, Black Start. Madden, a guard, rebooted the security system while talking to Siddiqui. Once it came back up, they saw two prisoners and Voistock in the medbay. Dakarai was not in his normal room when Siddiqui checked on him. Dakarai is another potential option to be Radike. Chapter 19, In My Time of Dying. Voistock turned on Artigan and Egan, throwing Egan into medical equipment and beating Artigan. Before being able to kill Artigan, Maul snapped Voistock's neck and wants Artigan to tell him about Radike, as it has become quite obvious that he knows a lot about the arms dealer. Chapter 20, Open Secrets. Artigan told Maul that he had saved Radike's life 20 years earlier, and Egan knows everything about Radike. The guards got into the medbay and are taking Maul to the warden's office. Chapter 21, Spindle. Siddiqui wanted Maul to tell her what he has found out about Radike and who sent him to Hive 7. Maul told her about a listening device he spotted under her desk, and refused to tell her anything if he didn't know who else was listening. Chapter 22, Blue Witch. Slifer had planted the bug in Siddiqui's office. Slifer called the mask after Maul's conversation with Siddiqui. Slifer revealed Maul, nor himself, have found much information on Radike. The mask wants Slifer to find Radike before Maul does and report his findings directly to Damask. Damask also told Slifer that he is at Hive 7 until he finds out where and who Radike is. Chapter 23, Factory Floor. Artigan survived but is very injured. Him and Egan are under heavy guard after the escape attempt. Maul followed a bird to the abandoned and unfinished factory a couple of levels below the main prison area. There he found Coil making sculptures out of bones. Zero was also there. Maul wanted to know more about Radike, but all they gave him were riddles. The Cyrox worm is still living in the ventilation system of the prison. The Cyrox worm is the main subject of the short story that took place in Hive 7. Chapter 24, Wishlist. Egan told Maul that he knew nothing of Radike and his father's involvement with Radike. Artigan is missing, not in medbay or his cell. Ismash got Maul a complete list of inmates. Maul wants Ismash to hack into the system again and set Maul to fight Rook, someone Zero had mentioned in the previous chapter. Chapter 25, Skull Game. Maul wants Coil to make him 300,000 counterfeit credits In exchange, he will get him bones from a Varactyl, which is 15 meters long. Maul told Coil to make a list of supplies he would need and give it to Zero, who will get those supplies for him. Chapter 26, Old Man. Artigan woke from unconsciousness, something he keeps slipping into from the pain of his leg. Zero and another inmate were asking Artigan what he had told Maul about Radike. Artigan asked where Egan was, then the alarms began ringing. Chapter 27, Varactyl. Maul killed the Varactyl and got injured in the fight. Maul delivered the head to Coil. Ismash, with Strabo, hacked into the system again. Immediately after delivering the head to Coil, the alarms went off, signaling the start of another fight. Chapter 28, Submerged. Maul was zip-tied to his bed by the corrections officer Smite. Then his cell started filling up with murky water. The creature he was fighting this time lived underwater. Chapter 29, Spectators. Chloris called Siddiqui once the fight began, as the fight that was happening was different than what was announced, meaning the betting was all based on different inmates. Chloris said he was shutting down Coghive 7's gambling organization. He also told Siddiqui that the Hutts had gotten many guards into the prison in search of Radike. Chapter 30, Tank. Maul injured Rook, then got information out of him. The Clawbirds bring the pieces of the weapons from the gang's cells to Radike. Maul killed Rook. Rook would not reveal any other players involved. Chapter 31, Clarity. Maul went to the morgue and contacted Sidious, who is disappointed in how long it is taking Maul to find Radike. As Maul left the morgue, he was ambushed. Chapter 32, Whiteout. Maul had been captured by Zero and another inmate, one Maul had only seen on his first day. Zero showed Maul Smash's corpse. Zero and the other inmate, possibly Radike, left the room, and Maul was being stretched out by each limb. Maul got out of the device and talked with Artigan, who is dying from his wounds, which were never properly treated. Artigan saved Radike from the Bando Gora. Maul is taking Artigan with him, likely going to talk with Egan. Chapter 33, Reconfig. Siddiqui set up a meeting with some of the guards. Chapter 34, Hooligans. Siddiqui had changed the outlay of the prison, opening up a new passageway. The Gravity Massive and Bone Kings united together to follow the passage. They are not happy with Maul's leadership. Chapter 35, Ready Room. Siddiqui had gathered up all the guards she thinks works for Jabba the Hutt. She then called Jabba with all those guards in the room. Chapter 36, What the Fever Said. Maul brought Artigan to Egan. Artigan told Egan that Zero answers to another name. Chapter 37, Bestiary. Jabba did not admit to sending in people. Then the room opened up, and the combination of gangs was waiting. Siddiqui then asked the guards if they had been sent by Jabba. One confessed, saying all the men in the room had been sent by the Hutts to find Radike. Siddiqui thanked him for the information, but still let the gangs converge on the unarmed guards. Smite was the only guard that got away. All the other guards were brutally killed by the gang members. Chapter 38, Antidote. Maul poisoned Zero. Maul wanted to set up a meeting with Radike, but Zero refused, passing out onto the table. Chapter 39, Crawl. Smite found the Cyrax worm after he escaped. As he was running away, Smite ran into the gang members as they were leaving the massacre. Nailhead grabbed Smite, then they all saw the worm. Chapter 40, Nobody's Hero. Maul contacted Sidious, telling him he knew who Radike was. The bells went off for another fight. Maul also got contact information for the Bando Gora from Artigan. Chapter 41, The Main Monkey Business. Siddiqui saw the combatants that were selected and thought there was an issue. She and her droid could not locate Dakarai, the only one who would know why the two combatants were selected and have the ability to change it. Chapter 42, Bleed the Freak. Maul had been matched with Radike, killing him in the fight. Radike injured him more than any of Maul's previous fights. With the help of the bird Radike had, Maul killed the bird before killing Radike. Chapter 43, called Danny Spires. Sidious watched Maul's fight with Plagueis. Sidious concealed his anger over Radike dying from Plagueis. Sidious's actual plan was to purchase a nuclear weapon from Radike to give to the Bando Gora. The Bando Gora would kill Plagueis with the weapon. Plagueis wants Maul to destroy Hive 7 and die there, removing all evidence and loose ends. Chapter 44. Shop. Smite escaped from the worm. All of the gang members were not as fortunate. After his escape, Smite found Radike's lab. As he was taking some weapons for himself, someone came into the room and knocked out Smite. Chapter 45. Red Saber Dreams. Maul dreamed of holding his lightsaber, fighting and killing a doppelganger of himself, cutting the doppelganger in half. At the end of the dream, it was Plagueis standing over the dead Maul. Although Maul never met Plagueis, he felt like he recognized him, even knew his name. Chapter 46. Hangar. Slifer went to the loading bay. He is expecting something to be delivered to him in the next shipment. Chapter 47. Airborne. Maul was now being led by the birds he had not killed. They led him to a room deep in the prison, where someone inside welcomed him to the inner circle. Chapter 48. Watch the Throne. Jabba the Hutt has arrived near Hive 7 with a small fleet. They have encountered a prison transport ship headed toward the prison. Chapter 49. Cabal. Maul was in the weapons factory with Slifer, Zero, who had survived the poison, and Coil. It was revealed that Radike utilizes body doubles, and was not killed by Maul. There were inmates with no eyes building the weapons. They were building lightsabers with a different crystal, but they did not work properly. Smite was tied up in the corner of the room and died when he tried to use the lightsaber. Radike spoke over the intercom after Maul offered to assist with their lightsaber issues. Radike waited for a moment, then instructed Zero to kill Maul. Chapter 50. Behind the Mask. Maul punched Zero, shifting the mask that was covering Dakarai's face. Dakarai had not told Siddiqui or Radike that he was hidden as Zero, to be among the inmates in secrecy for the benefit of the algorithm and to talk personally with Radike. Radike ordered Coil to kill Dakarai. Coil did. Radike told Slifer he could carry on as planned and take Maul with him. Chapter 51. To the Hold. Maul and Slifer went to the hangar. While they were walking, Maul used the Force to choke Slifer for a second. Maul and Slifer were spotted by the hangar crew. Slifer yelled to them, saying Maul had taken him from his quarters and was going to kill him, then escape. Maul caused a droid to malfunction. The droid caused mass damage in the hangar and decapitated Slifer. Maul ran for the exit in the chaos. Chapter 52. Purge. The Purge is the name of the prison transport. Jabba's fleet attacked the Purge and began to board the ship. Chapter 53. Is there a ghost? Siddiqui blackmailed Chloris to reinstate Hive 7 as a gambling institution and to tell the IBC something of why their field agent has disappeared. Siddiqui also spotted Maul in the lift and hit the alarm. Chapter 54. Hotbox. Through the lift speakers, Siddiqui offered Maul a job in the executive level of the prison. When Maul refused, the lift stopped and the walls began to heat up. Chapter 55. Inbound Flight. The Purge docked with Hive 7. Instead of the Purge's crew and prisoners being unloaded, Jabba the Hutt's foot soldiers came out and began attacking those working in the hangar. Two Kell dragons brought out a floating holovid projector showing Jabba. Chapter 56. 12 by 18. Maul escaped the lift and left searching for Egan. Chapter 57. Killing Box. Siddiqui lost a leg to one of the Kell dragons and shot the other. She instructed her droid to reconfigure the hangar, leaving a 5-meter gap and dropping a large amount of Jabba's men, including the one living Kell dragon. Siddiqui's droid then took her out of the hangar to the medbay. Jabba ordered all of the prisoners on the Purge to be released. The prisoners picked up weapons and looked for an item to use as a bridge. Siddiqui's droid set off all alarms to alert guards to the hangar. Chapter 58. The Dark Backward. During the reconfiguration, Maul was sent into the nesting place for the Cyrox worm. The worm was above Maul, but Maul got away, seemingly unnoticed. Chapter 59, Cyrox. The Cyrox worm has been on Cog Hive 7 for 3.5 years and has consumed hundreds of prisoners in that time. Chapter 60, Closing Time. Radike sent 6 of his blind followers, led by the birds, to kill Artigan. They succeeded in killing Artigan, but Egan killed all 6 of them. Maul arrived shortly after and wants to bring Egan to the cargo bay. Chapter 61, Pressure and Time. Maul brought Egan into the hangar where the prisoners were overrunning the guards. Maul received the package the droid was holding for Slifer. Chapter 62, Ready Appliance. The guards have taken heavy losses and are outnumbered. Siddiqui is leaving Medbay and heading to an escape pod. Chapter 63, Sojourn. Plagueis sent Radike the final part of the lightsaber he needed. This was the package sent for Slifer. 114D, Plagueis' droid, informed Plagueis that Slifer had been killed accidentally by a droid, and Maul received the package. Plagueis is keeping his involvement in the mission from Sidious. Chapter 64, The Tombs. Kamari Vosa and the Bando Gora have arrived at Cog Hive 7. Chapter 65, As Below, So Above. Maul and Egan arrived back in the weapons shop, greeted by Coil and Aram Radike. Chapter 66, Hush. Siddiqui returned to her office to terminate all of the prisoners before leaving. The Cyrox joined Siddiqui in the office, killing her. Chapter 67, The Man Comes Around. Maul fixed one of the lightsabers and offered his knowledge to Radike in exchange for getting the bombs out of his and Egan's heart, and the nuclear device to be brought to the Bando Gora. Chapter 68, Malfactors. The Bando Gora killed Jabba's men in the hangar. Vosa and Jabba spoke through the holo projector, and Jabba decided to leave Cog Hive 7, as he had done what he came to do. The Bando Gora continued into the prison. Chapter 69, Low Numbers. As Maul and Egan traveled through the mess hall, they saw piles of dead prisoners. Chapter 70, The Killing Moon. The Bando Gora found the Cyrox. The Cyrox ate all of Vosa's soldiers, but she escaped. Any injury the Cyrox sustained healed before the fight even ended, even those sustained by Vosa's lightsaber. Chapter 71, The Sum of Its Parts. Radike met Maul and Egan in the medbay. Radike began attacking Maul with the lightsaber. Maul was able to take the lightsaber from Radike, but Radike shot Maul in the arm. Egan's charge in his heart had been removed during their failed escape attempt. He faked dying and was able to attack Radike by surprise, killing him. Once Radike had died, Maul noticed Kamari Vosa in the door to medbay. Chapter 72, Stick It Out. Maul and Vosa began fighting. Then the worm came into medbay. Chapter 73, The Wreckers. Maul killed the worm as it went for Vosa. They had stopped fighting. Maul told Vosa that he was going to die from the charges in his hearts, and she needed to take the weapon. Chapter 74, Diastole. Maul, Vosa, and Egan made it to the hangar with the weapons crate. Jabba was still there and wants Vosa to die in Cog Hive 7. Vosa did take the weapons charges out of his heart using the Force. Chapter 75, 500, Republica. Plagueis made an unexpected visit to Sidious after the events of Cog Hive 7. Radike is dead, Maul made it out alive, and Cog Hive 7 has been destroyed. Chapter 76, After Image. Maul, Vosa, and Egan left Cog Hive 7 aboard Jabba's ship. I don't really know why Jabba let them out, but he did and is taking them back to Hutt territory. Overall, I thought this was a pretty good book. I enjoyed hearing more about Cog Hive 7, as it was in a short story, and when something comes in a short story and just goes away, there's a whole storyline that could have been put in, so I'm glad a novel touches back and gives a lot more details on Cog Hive 7. It also gives a good background of how Maul develops as a character in the Star Wars universe. This also shows some more tension between Sidious and Plagueis. We see that Sidious has come up with multiple different ways of how he's planning on taking out Plagueis, and this is just another one. In the end, I thought the book was pretty good. The story kept moving throughout, even with a lot of chapters. Something was going on to move the story all the time, so I enjoyed this one. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your day.